Hi, so glad you're here. I imagine you're here because something on this bubble story seems a bit off. Let me help break it down. This bubble says, open quote, "You're not brown enough to be Cuban," close quote. Let's name this for what it is: racial gatekeeping rooted in colonial colorism. This isn't just a misguided comment about appearance, it's a weaponized judgment that enforces white supremacist ideas of what ethnicity is supposed to look like. It's also a byproduct of colonization that has confused skin tone with culture and bloodline with belonging. Let's unpack how we got here. First, some historical truth. Cuba, like much of the Caribbean and Latin America, is not a place with a single race. It is a place shaped by indigenous survival, African enslavement, European colonization, and Asian indenture. Centuries of racial mixing, mestizaje, criolización, blanqueamiento, have created a rich, complex, and deeply politicized spectrum of identities. But instead of honoring that complexity, colonialism taught people to rank identities by proximity to whiteness, distrust those who don't look the part, police the boundaries of race based on visual cues. So when someone says you're not brown enough to be Cuban, they're not asking a question, they're repeating a colonial script. What's really being said? You don't fit my idea of what Cuban looks like. Translation: Cuban is only valid if it confirms my racial expectations. You're not brown enough. Translation: your identity must come with visible pain or struggle for me to believe it. You're not real. Translation: only suffering that I can see counts as authentic. This is not confusion. This is implicit conditioning, the neurosocial training that teaches all of us, especially in colonized cultures, to distrust ambiguity, to rank each other, and to tie cultural belonging to phenotype. Why this hurts. It flattens diaspora, making culture about skin instead of memory, migration, and ancestry. It invalidates people with mixed heritage or lighter skin who carry the same history, language, and trauma. It reinforces anti-Blackness and anti-indigeneity by making Cuban seem like a monolith. It turns racial identity into a purity test when identity is lived, inherited, and sacred. If you've ever said something like this, or heard it and didn't know how to respond, this is not about shame. It's about truth. It's about realizing that white supremacy doesn't just punish Black and brown people. It also programs everyone to doubt, diminish, and divide one another. So what's the liberatory shift? 1, stop measuring culture with your eyes. Cuban identity doesn't need your approval. It needs your respect. 2, interrogate the colonial roots of your expectations. Ask yourself who taught you what real looked like and why. 3, honor the full spectrum of Cuban identity: Afro-Cuban, Indo-Cuban, Chinese Cuban, white Cuban, mixed Cuban, queer Cuban, disabled Cuban. All of it is real. Being Cuban isn't about being brown enough. It's about carrying memory, honoring roots, and reclaiming what colonization tried to erase. So if you're here, curious, and willing to sit with this truth, thank you. You're already dismantling the system that made this bubble possible. And I'm right here with you for the next one.